A king's irrational jealousy destroys his family, only for time and fate to offer a miraculous path to redemption. Prepare for a journey of sorrow and unexpected joy in The Winter's Tale. Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we take a stack of material and unearth the most compelling insights for you. Today, we're plunging into one of William Shakespeare's most profound and, well, contrasting works, The Winter's Tale.
It truly is a remarkable play, often categorized as one of Shakespeare's late romances,
Yeah,
believed to have been written around 1609, 1611, somewhere in there.
like one of the last ones he wrote, basically.
Exactly. And what makes it so fascinating, I think, is its incredibly dramatic shifts. We journey from this really intense tragedy and courtly intrigue right into heartwarming comedy and romance.
It's like two different plays stitched together sometimes.
It really feels that way.
Yeah.
And it culminates in this powerful message of hope and restoration. It truly defies typical genre definitions. It blends these grand plot points with humor, dramatic action, and internal struggles.
And it seems to zoom in on family relationships, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It particularly focuses on the complex relationships between father and daughter, which becomes central later on. And unlike many of Shakespeare's tragedies, it manages to end happily, not with that moment of danger that just rushes to a grim solution.
So not Hamlet or Macbeth.
Definitely not. It's an incredibly rich text, really perfect for exploration today.
Absolutely. Our mission today is to, well, uncover the core narrative of this unique play, explore the deep motivations of its central characters because, wow, are they motivated? And dissect the timeless themes that make The Winter's Tale resonate even with us today, centuries later.
Right. Themes like jealousy, forgiveness, time itself.
Yeah, we'll delve into how it navigates these really raw human emotions, the destructive power of suspicion, the transformative nature of grief, and the healing power of time and forgiveness. Ultimately, we'll see how it invites you to consider second chances, a truly universal human desire. Okay, so let's unpack this chilling beginning. The play opens in the Sicilian court. We meet King Leontes of Sicilia and his lifelong friend, King Polixenes of Bohemia.
Yeah, they've been having this great reunion, right? Polixenes has been visiting for 9 months.
9 months, it's a long visit. And their bond is initially depicted with such purity. We hear them described as like two twinned lambs in their innocence, frolicking, bleating at each other.
Yeah, in days when they supposedly knew not the doctrine of ill-doing. It paints such a vivid picture, doesn't it? This unblemished, uncomplicated friendship. Almost Edenic, like you said before we started recording.
Right, like nothing could possibly go wrong.
And that idyllic image makes the abrupt shift all the more jarring. What's truly unsettling here, and what critics always talk about, is how Leontes' jealousy, specifically targeting his wife Hermione's affection for Polixenes, it just seems to appear dramatically out of nowhere.
It's so sudden. There's no buildup, no warning signs.
Exactly. It doesn't stem from any clear external provocation. In fact, it paradoxically springs from Hermione's very success in persuading Polixenes to extend his stay.
The thing Leontes himself couldn't do.
Precisely. He had tried to get Polixenes to stay just one more week, but Polixenes was quite firm, saying he needed to get back home. Yet Hermione, with just, 3 short speeches, she manages to convince him.
She's just being a good hostess, charming and persuasive.
You'd think. But for Leontes, this success, rather than being a testament to his wife's virtue, gets twisted in his mind into proof of impropriety, a sign of a secret affair. It's just instantaneous combustion.
And it's fascinating because unlike, say, Othello, who is so skillfully manipulated by Iago,
Right, the classic villain whispering poison.
Leontes doesn't have that. There's no external antagonist pushing him towards this. Instead, he calls it an internal infection of his brains, right? Something causing his brows to harden.
Yeah, he describes it himself, and he conjures these vivid, really disturbing images in his mind. Whispering, meeting noses, kissing with inside lip.
Ugh, horrible stuff.
Horrible. Even things like stopping the career of laughter with a sigh and skulking in corners, wishing clocks would go faster. These aren't observations, they're projections. Pure paranoia.
Coming entirely from inside his own head.
Entirely. He literally declares, is this nothing? Whether the world and all that's in it is nothing. My wife is nothing, nor nothing have these nothings if this be nothing. It's a complete unraveling of his perception of reality.
Totally self-generated.
Absolutely. And that psychological realism, it feels strikingly modern. That recognition of the self-generating nature of Leontes' passion and the sheer compulsiveness of paranoid behavior, it's a chilling reminder of how the mind can turn inward and just build its own hell.
So no Iago needed. She does it all himself.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And his rage spirals incredibly quickly and destructively. With absolutely no tangible evidence, he accuses Hermione of high treason and adultery with Polixenes.
In front of everyone.
Yes. And what's more, he even conspires with Camillo, his loyal courtier, to murder Polixenes.
He orders Camilla to poison his lifelong friend?
He does. He forces Camillo to swear to do it, threatening him with death to thyself, but to thy lewd-tongued wife if he fails. It's brutal.
And the sheer irrationality must be obvious to everyone else, right?
Completely obvious. Everyone around him knows Hermione is innocent, and they protest. Paulina, one of Hermione's ladies, and we'll talk more about her later, she's amazing. She openly says Leontes has betrayed the sacred honor of himself.
Good for her.
Yeah. Even Antigonus, another loyal lord, directly tells Leontes, you are abused, and by some putter on that will be damned for it. Would I knew the villain.
But there is no putter on, no external villain.
Exactly. As you said, the true villain here becomes Leontes' own unchecked internal jealousy.
And it's Camilla's reaction that really underscores Leontes' warped judgment, doesn't it? His misjudgment of character.
Absolutely. Camillo, despite facing these direct threats, death and reward, he just can't bring himself to betray his moral compass.
He refuses to poison Polixenes.
He does. Instead, he warns Polixenes, tells him everything, and they both flee to Bohemia that very night.
Wow. So Camillo gives up everything, his home, his position, his king, to do the right thing.
He does. This act of profound loyalty, choosing exile over obeying an unjust command, it sets the stage for crucial events much later in the play. It's a massive demonstration of integrity in the face of tyranny.
Okay, so Leontes is spiraling. Camillo and Polixenes have fled. What happens next? Does he just keep going?
Well, the situation reaches a critical point because Leontes insists on getting, supposedly, divine confirmation. He sends messengers to the Oracle of Apollo at Delphos.
Ah, the Oracle, trying to prove himself right.
Exactly. Cleomenes and Dion, the messengers, they go and come back. They're meticulous about it, swearing on a sword of justice that they've brought back the sealed oracle directly from Apollo's priest and haven't dared break the holy seal.
So everyone's waiting for the divine word.
Yes. And when the pronouncement is read aloud in the court of justice, it is absolutely unequivocal. Crystal clear.
What does it say?
It declares Hermione chaste, Polixenes blameless, Camillo a true subject, Leontes a jealous tyrant, his innocent babe truly begotten.
So confirming the baby Hermione is carrying is his.
Yes. And then the kicker. And the king shall live without an heir if that which is lost be not found.
Wow. That's unambiguous. The gods themselves, the ultimate authority, speaking directly against his accusations.
You'd think that would stop him.
Right. He would. But here's where it gets really interesting and, frankly, just absolutely infuriating from a human perspective. Leontes, in this stunning display of hubris and delusion,
He rejects it.
he rejects it. He dismisses the divine pronouncement as mere falsehood, sealing his tragic fate. He literally shouts, "There is no truth at all in the oracle. The sessions shall proceed. This is mere falsehood."
It's unbelievable. He believes his own poisoned thoughts, his self-generated paranoia over the direct, holy word from Apollo.
This defiance of divine will, it's a massive turning point. It shows just how deep his delusion runs, how utterly consumed he is. It's a moment that sends shivers down your spine, watching someone completely abandon reason, piety, everything.
And the retribution is immediate, chillingly immediate.
What happens?
His defiance is punished almost instantaneously. A servant rushes in with devastating news. His young son, Mamilius, has died.
Oh no, the little boy.
Yes, died from mere conceit and fear of the queen's speed. Basically, from stress and worry about his mother's trial. Remilius was this hopeful young prince. His father called him a bawcock, a sweet term for a cute little fellow, and his death is a direct, heartbreaking consequence.
Oh, God, that's brutal. The breaking of the next generation.
It is. And almost simultaneously, upon hearing of her son's death, Hermione swoons. Paulina reports her dead.
So, wife and son gone, just like that.
Just like that. The speed and severity are jarring. It highlights the swiftness and absolute nature of divine retribution in this play. It's not a slow decline. It's an immediate, crushing blow.
This whole devastating turn, it just underscores the truly destructive power of Leontes' unbridled jealousy. By his own actions, he's destroyed his family, wife, son, and, as we'll see, his daughter, too.
He has created an heirless kingdom, fulfilling the oracle's prophecy in the most brutal, self-inflicted way.
And does he finally see it, then?
Yes, the tragedy is, the moment Hermione is carried off, presumed dead, Leontes instantly repents. He recognizes Apollo's anger, cries out, "Apollo's angry, and the heavens themselves do frown upon my unity." He sees it.
It's too late.
It's tragically too late, especially for Mamilius. It's a stark reminder that some losses are just irreversible, no matter how deep the remorse or eventual redemption might be. So following this immediate shattering loss, Leontes, though he's now repentant, is still acting from this place of deep pain and maybe a desperate need to avoid further divine wrath.
Right. He knows he defied the oracle.
Exactly. So he orders Antigonus, Paulina's husband, remember to take the newborn baby girl, Perdita.
The one the oracle declared was his.
Yes. He orders Antigonus to abandon her in a remote and desert place. He charges him on his soul's peril and his body's torture to carry out this unbelievably cruel bidding, to just leave it without more mercy to its own protection in favor of the climate.
God, abandoning a baby, even in his grief, that's harsh. Is he still thinking she's illegitimate?
It's unclear. Maybe he still partly believes it, despite the oracle, or maybe it's a misguided attempt to appease the gods by removing what he thinks caused the sin, or just sheer despair. Whatever the reason, it's horrific.
And this brings us to one of Shakespeare's most iconic, most talked about stage directions, kind of whispered with awe and maybe a little amusement.
Ah, yes. Exit, pursued by a bear.
It's so abrupt, so visceral, and kind of random.
It feels that way. We later learn from the shepherd's son that Antigonus is indeed torn to pieces with a bear, shortly after leaving Perdita on the Bohemian coast.
So he actually gets eaten by a bear.
He does. And to add to the tragedy, his ship is wrecked in a sudden storm right offshore. So all instruments which aided to expose the child were even then lost when it was found.
Meaning Antigonus and his sailors, the only witnesses who knew where the baby came from, are gone.
Precisely. This violent, seemingly random end for Antigonus, plus the loss of the ship, emphasizes the harshness of fate and the completeness of the rupture with Cecilia. Perdita is now truly lost.
And people always wonder, did they use a real bear on stage back then?
Yeah, that's the classic debate. Bear baiting was popular in London, so maybe. But it's much more likely, as scholars generally agree, that theater companies used realistic bearskins. We know Shakespeare's competitors, the Lord Admiral's men, owned bear costumes. So probably a very convincing illusion.
Still, what a moment. It really sticks with you. Exit, pursued by a bear.
Definitely memorable. And then the play takes this remarkable leap.
Right, the big jump.
16 years pass, a huge chasm in the narrative, and it's bridged by the appearance of Father Time himself as a chorus.
Time literally walks onto the stage.
Literally. He addresses the audience directly, saying things like, "I that please some try all. Now take upon me, in the name of time, to use my wings, I slide, or 16 years, and leave the growth untried of that wide gap."
So he's basically saying, don't blame me, I'm just fast-forwarding things here.
Pretty much. He says it's in his power to o'erthrow law, and in one self-born hour to plant and o'erwhelm custom. This isn't just a handy plot device. It signifies a crucial shift in the play's structure, its tone. Time becomes an active character, a healing force.
Because that long period of penance, it feels necessary for Leontes, doesn't it?
Absolutely necessary. For his slow repent, which has to grow from within unforced, it has to be a true transformation. It acknowledges that some wounds, some griefs, just require the passage of years to even begin to mend.
It's such an ingenious narrative leap. It allows the audience to, as Time says, sleep between the raw tragedy of the first part and the eventual redemption and, well, romance of the second part.
Exactly. It highlights time as this powerful healing force, a theme we really need to dive into. Without this huge gap, the forgiveness, the reconciliation later on, it just wouldn't feel earned. It wouldn't have the weight of true transformation.
It allows for these profound changes, not just in the plot, but in the characters' souls. It reflects the reality that deep healing, well, it takes time.
And during this long period, far away from the corrupting influence of the Sicilian court, Perdita is found and adopted.
Right by the shepherd?
Yes, a kind old shepherd and his son, the clown. They find her on the Bohemian coast right after Antigonus leaves her. They also find the gold and jewels left with her.
The proof of her identity, though they don't know it yet.
Not yet. The old shepherd finds her and exclaims, "Mercy on this, a barn, a very pretty barn. A boy or a child, I wonder? Sure, some scape." He senses she's not just any abandoned baby.
And she grows up there.
She grows up in the natural, innocent world of Bohemia, raised by the shepherd and his son. It's this stark contrast to the turbulent, suspicious court of Cecilia. They become her loving foster family, nurturing her in this pastoral setting that really embodies purity and simplicity.
So we shift completely. From Cecilia's dark courtly turmoil.
to Bohemia's vibrant rural festivity. It's striking and absolutely crucial for the play's balance. We suddenly find ourselves amidst this lively sheep-shearing feast.
With music and dancing.
Lots of music, dancing, flowers, and the delightful rogue, Autolycus,
Ah, Autolycus, he's great.
isn't he? He's described as a snapper-up of unconsidered trifles, a former servant to Prince Florizel who now thrives as a wandering peddler and pickpocket. He sells ballads, haunts wakes, fairs, and bear baitings.
A bit of comic relief, but also more than that.
Definitely more. He adds this vibrant, comic realism to the second half, contrasting so sharply with the tragedy of the first. He sings these funny, sometimes poignant ballads, some doleful matter merrily set down, others very pleasant and sung lamentably. Even one about a fish that wouldn't sleep with someone and got turned into a cold fish.
Huh. Classic Autolycus. So this whole pastoral interlude, it's not just filler.
Not at all. It feels like a genuine breath of fresh air after the intensity and claustrophobia of the Sicilian court. It offers a glimpse into a world governed by nature, simple joys, honesty, sometimes mischievous human interactions. It's a world where maybe true love can actually blossom, untainted by suspicion.
So, okay, 16 years have passed. We're in sunny, rural Bohemia. What does this all mean for the next generation, for Perdita?
Well, in Bohemia, Perdita has grown into this incredibly beautiful young woman, and naturally she falls deeply in love.
With whom?
With Florizel, who happens to be King Polixenes' son. The son of the man her father accused her mother of having an affair with.
Oh, the irony. Does Florizel know who she really is?
No, he knows her only as a shepherdess, this simple country girl. He even visits her disguised as the shepherd himself, calling himself Doricles. But their connection is immediate and undeniable. She's described as the prettiest, low-born lass that ever ran on the greensward.
To its pure young love.
Incredibly pure. It really reflects the natural innocence and simplicity of their setting. Perdita is affectionately called the Queen of Curds and Cream, emphasizing her connection to nature and rural life.
And she's stunningly beautiful, apparently.
Oh, yes. Men declare she is the rarest of all women, and women agree she is a woman more worth than any man. Florizel is completely smitten. He even jokes about how gods like Jupiter disguise themselves as animals for love, saying he wouldn't blush to change his shape for her.
So their affection feels really genuine, unlike the suspicion and corruption back in Sicilia.
Exactly. It's a love born of natural affinity, not court politics or societal standing. It feels hopeful.
But I sense a but coming.
There's always a but in Shakespeare, isn't there? That natural affinity quickly runs into conflict with societal expectations. Polixenes, the king.
Florizel's father.
Right. He gets suspicious about where his son keeps disappearing to. So he disguises himself as a commoner, along with the now-returned Camillo.
Camillo's back with Polixenes.
Yes, he's been serving Polixenes faithfully all these years in Bohemia. So they go disguised to the sheep-shearing feast to spy on Florizel.
And they discover him head over heels for a shepherdess.
Exactly. And Polixenes, echoing Leontes' earlier anxieties about lineage and control, though thankfully without the same crazy jealousy, he absolutely forbids the unequal match.
He blows up.
He reveals himself in a fury, accuses Perdita of excellent witchcraft, calls the poor old shepherd a traitor for allowing it, threatens to hang him, tells Florizel he'll disown him. It's intense.
Wow, so the fear of mixing royal blood with common stock is still a powerful force.
Absolutely. It shows how even seemingly reasonable fears, or at least socially ingrained ones, about status and lineage can lead to pretty destructive outcomes, echoing the pressures that contributed to Leontes' madness.
So before all that drama erupts, there's this famous discussion about flowers, right? Between Perdita and Polixenes.
Ah, yes. It's truly one of Shakespeare's most profound philosophical moments, cleverly disguised within a chat about gardening at the festival.
What are the core of it?
Well, Perdita, in her sort of natural purity, says she doesn't like planting certain flowers like carnations and streaked gillivores, which are cultivated hybrids. Some call them nature's bastards.
Because they're not purely natural.
Exactly. She says there is an art which in their piedness shares with great creating nature. She acknowledges human intervention, grafting, cultivation, but she seems hesitant, maybe feeling it compromises natural purity. She prefers flowers that reflect the seasons naturally.
And Polixenes disagrees.
He offers a deeper, you could say more radical insight. He argues that this art isn't separate from nature at all. He says, nature is made better by no mean, but nature makes that mean. So over that art, which you say adds to nature, is an art that nature makes.
Wait, break that down.
He's saying the skill, the art humans use to cultivate or graft, that ability itself comes from nature. Nature gave us the intelligence and means to do it, therefore the art itself is nature.
Whoa. So human creativity, our technology, our artifice, it's all part of nature.
That's the implication. It suggests that human ingenuity isn't separate from the natural world, but maybe even nature's own instruments of self-conscious self-transcendence.
Like every human act counts as an act of nature.
Pretty much. It almost sounds like we're the universe improving itself, or at least expressing itself in new ways. It elevates human endeavor, suggesting our creativity isn't a departure from nature, but an extension of its own drive.
That's a powerful idea, especially when you think about the ending with Paulina's, well, her artifice.
Exactly. It resonates deeply with the play's ultimate resolution. And this philosophical moment also neatly sets up the next plot turn.
Which is?
Camillo. Remember Camillo? He's been longing to return to Sicilia all these years to see Leontes again, hoping for reconciliation.
Right, he fled with Polixenes 16 years ago.
Yes. So, seeing Florizel and Perdita desperate to escape Polixenes' wrath, Camillo sees his chance. He advises them to flee to Sicilia.
To Leontes, the man who banished Perdita.
Yes, but he advises them to go disguised, presenting themselves as ambassadors from Polixenes. This gives Camillo a reason to facilitate their journey and hopefully return himself.
He thinks Leontes will welcome them.
He knows Leontes has spent years in deep repentance. He hopes Leontes will welcome his loyal friend back, and maybe seeing the young couple. Well, Camillo is banking on Leontes' changed heart. He openly says he wants to purchase the sight again of dear Cecilia, and that unhappy king, my master, whom I so much thirst to see.
So it's a gamble, but one driven by Camillo's desire for home and reconciliation, too.
Absolutely, and it works. They set sail for Sicilia.
Okay, so they arrive in Sicilia. How does the revelation happen, the moment Perdita's identity is discovered?
It's actually told to us rather than shown directly on stage, which is interesting. It happens when the old shepherd and his son, who found Perdita, also arrive in Sicilia, brought there somewhat accidentally by Autolycus, in fact.
Autolycus again.
He's everywhere. Anyway, the shepherd and clown bring with them the bundle found with the infant 16 years ago.
The crucial evidence.
The crucial evidence. Hermione's mantle, her jewel about the neck of it, the letters of Antigonus detailing who she was and why he abandoned her. These long-lost items are the undeniable proofs.
And Leontes sees them.
Yes. The news is delivered secondhand by gentlemen reporting on the scene. They describe it as being so like an old tale that the verity of it is a strong suspicion. It's so incredible. But they say there is such unity in the proofs that it cannot be denied. Perdita is Leontes' lost daughter.
The lost is finally found. The oracle's condition is met.
Precisely. The prophecy's coming true.
What must that reunion have been like, Leontes realizing this beautiful young woman is his daughter?
The gentlemen describe it vividly, a moment of intense joy and sorrow. Especially for Paulina, who gets proof the oracle was fulfilled, but is also reminded of losing her husband, Antigonus, the man who abandoned Perdita but ultimately saved her life.
A bittersweet moment for her.
Very. And they describe the reunion of the two kings, Leontes and Polixenes, who also arise chasing his son. There's one joy crown another, and sorrow weeping to take leave. Leontes, seeing Perdita and her striking resemblance to Hermione, apparently cries out, "Oh, thy mother, thy mother."
Oh, heartbreaking.
Just overwhelming recognition and grief mixed together. And then he humbly begs Polixenes for forgiveness, calling him dear my brother. The sheer relief, the weight of 16 years lifting, but combined with the lingering pain. It must have been incredibly powerful.
And Leontes really has been repenting all this time. It wasn't just for show.
Oh no, it seems absolutely genuine. We hear earlier that he has spent 16 long years in profound mourning. He visits the chapel where he believes Hermione and Mamillius are buried daily, a constant ritual of grief and remorse.
Daily for 16 years.
That's what's implied. And he vowed never to remarry until Paulina permitted it.
Paulina. Why her?
She became his conscience, essentially. He accepts her judgment, reflects on his blemishes and the wrong I did myself, which was so much that heirless it have made my kingdom and destroyed the sweetest companion. He tells Paulina directly, "My true Paulina, we shall not marry till thou bidst us."
Wow. That's a testament to how humbled and transformed he truly is. He's completely submitted to penance.
Exactly. This saint-like sorrow, this long period of penance and mourning, it's absolutely central to the play's theme of forgiveness and reconciliation. The play suggests his deep remorse isn't just punishment. It's the necessary pathway to grace.
His repentant sinfulness is transfigured by grace.
That's a great way to put it. And the restoration of Perdita and then Hermione feels like almost a miracle. a divine gift perhaps, but one earned through immense suffering and genuine atonement.
So the cycle is repentance brings forgiveness.
And forgiveness brings reconciliation. It's a profound journey from this absolute rock bottom of hubris and devastation to a state of grace. It emphasizes that real atonement takes more than just saying sorry. It takes a deep, prolonged transformation of the soul.
Okay, so Perdita is found, Leontes and Polixenes are reconciled, but Hermione is still believed dead, right?
Correct. Everyone believes Hermione died 16 years ago after hearing of Mamillius's death.
So the climax of the play, this moment of breathtaking suspense and emotional release, takes place at Paulina's house.
Yes. Paulina invites everyone to see a statue of Hermione she claims has just been finished by a rare Italian master, Julio Romano.
A statue after all this time.
That's what she says. And when it's unveiled, Leontes is utterly heartbroken by how lifelike it is. He notes its wrinkles, the signs of age, saying the carver's excellence makes her look as she lived now.
He sees the 16 years on her face.
He does. The intensity of his grief is palpable. He wants to kiss it. He wishes he could awake her. He cries out again, "Oh, thy mother, thy mother." The scene is almost unbearable in its emotional weight as he confronts this perfect image of his lost love.
And this is the play's most famous scene, right? The most debated one.
Absolutely. And for very good reason. The central question that has captivated audiences and scholars for centuries is Hermione really brought back to life by magic? Is it a genuine resurrection?
Or has she been alive all along?
Exactly. Has she been hidden away in seclusion with Paulina all these years, and this is an elaborate, meticulously executed plan?
What does the play suggest?
Well, the language Paulina uses certainly evokes magic. She talks about faith, says the oracle has been fulfilled and needs music. She instructs the statue to come down and tells the others not to shun her as if by wicked magic. It feels ritualistic, almost supernatural.
It sounds like magic.
It does. However, there are also really strong textual clues pointing towards a plan. We heard earlier from a minor character, a steward, that Paulina has been secretly visiting a removed house where the statue is kept twice or thrice a day ever since Hermione supposedly died.
For 16 years, that's dedication.
Right. That suggests long-term concealment, not just a newly finished statue. And crucially, Hermione herself, when she comes alive, says to Perdita, "I, knowing by Paulina that the oracle gave hope thou wast in being, have preserved myself to see the issue."
Ah, so she knew Perdita might be alive because of the oracle, and she waited.
That's what she says. It implies a conscious decision to hide, guided by Paulina and the oracle's hopeful words, "If that which is lost be not found," waiting for the right moment, a strategic act of self-preservation.
So, it could be either, or both.
I think the brilliance, especially into good production, is making it feel like both a well-executed human plan and a genuine miracle simultaneously. It allows the audience to believe in the impossible, even while offering a rational explanation.
Yeah.
It preserves the wonder.
That's Shakespeare's genius, I suppose, holding those two possibilities together.
Precisely.
But regardless of how it happens, what an incredible moment. Whether it's magic or this elaborate, compassionate deception, it allows for the full, heart-wrenching family reunion.
Perdita kneeling before the mother she never knew, asking for her blessing. Leontes reunited with the wife he thought he'd killed. It's unparalleled emotional release and healing.
The ultimate triumph of love and patience over all those years of suffering. It's the play's emotional crescendo, bringing all the broken pieces back together.
And we absolutely cannot discuss this scene or the whole journey of Leontes' repentance without really highlighting Paulina's role.
She's been there the whole time, hasn't she, since the beginning?
Right from the start. Despite Leontes calling her a mankind witch and an intelligencing bawd in his madness early on, she stands as this unshakable, heroic figure. She truly is the one person who is utterly unafraid of Leontes, willing to say and keep saying the hardest truths to his face.
She never backed down.
Never. She challenges him constantly, even when others might shy away. Remember how she insists he shouldn't remarry? She holds him to that vow, telling him he can only marry when your first queen's again in breath, never till then.
Which seemed impossible, but she knew. Or hoped.
Exactly. Her fierce, unyielding loyalty to Hermione, her unwavering commitment to justice and truth, she's the engine driving the reconciliation. She doesn't just mourn passively, she actively manages Leontes' penance for 16 years.
Holding him accountable.
Holding him accountable, forcing him to confront his grief until he is truly deeply ready for redemption. Her actions are absolutely pivotal. Without her fierce determination, her moral clarity, her refusal to let him off the hook, the final reconciliation wouldn't feel earned. It might even feel hollow.
She makes sure his reckoning is complete, so the final grace feels genuinely profound. What a character.
Incredible character.
Yeah.
So, thinking about the play as a whole, The Winter's Tale, despite its fairy tale ending and that bear,
Hmm.
it offers these truly timeless lessons, doesn't it? Things that still resonate.
Absolutely. Leontes' journey from that terrifyingly irrational suspicion and destructive rage to profound repentance. It speaks directly to the destructive power of unchecked emotion, of paranoia, of jealousy. We still see that today.
We do. And his long, painful path towards reconciliation, the necessity of that extended passage of time for healing, and the ultimate triumph of love over bitterness. These are universal human experiences. We can all recognize that need for time, for forgiveness, whether in our own lives or in the world.
The play really demonstrates that while mistakes or sins can cause immense suffering, a long period of penance, of humility, of genuine remorse, it can lead to transformation, to grace.
It's a powerful statement on the potential for human growth, isn't it? The change is possible, even from the darkest places.
It really is, and it beautifully explores this concept of second chances, the incredible potential for profound healing, even after immense suffering and, well, seemingly irreparable damage like Mamilius's death.
Yeah, it encourages us to consider the cyclical nature of life. That image of winter giving way to spring is so central. Loss can, perhaps miraculously, be followed by recovery and new beginnings.
It's a testament to patience, to restorative justice, and this idea that love and forgiveness can, in a way, bring the dead back to life, whether you take the statue scene literally or figuratively.
Right. And yet, even with that overwhelmingly joyous ending, the miraculous reunion, the play doesn't let us completely forget the cost. The unjust death of young Prince Mamilius lingers, as one critic put it.
He doesn't come back.
He doesn't come back. We're reminded that some losses are irreversible. Forgiveness can transform the future, absolutely, but it doesn't magically erase past pain or fully undo the original sin and its consequences.
So there's a bittersweet note woven in.
There is. It ensures the play's message isn't one of naive optimism, but of hard-won hope. Realistic grace, perhaps. It acknowledges the scars remain even when the wounds heal.
So, from that unforgettable, almost mythical exit pursued by a bear to the enigmatic, deeply moving statue scene, The Winter's Tale just keeps captivating and challenging audiences, doesn't it?
It really does. It invites you to delve into the deepest, most complex corners of human nature, our capacity for irrationality, for deep remorse, and ultimately for the transformative power of forgiveness.
It's a masterpiece that leaves you with a sense of wonder, I think, and maybe a renewed belief in the resilience of the human spirit. What an incredible deep dive into The Winter's Tale. We've seen a king's jealousy ignite a terrible tragedy, witnessed the profound healing passage of 16 years, and finally celebrated a miraculous reunion that speaks to the deepest parts of our humanity.
The play truly leaves us with profound insights, doesn't it? Into the cycles of loss and recovery and the extraordinary potential for forgiveness and reconciliation. It's such a powerful testament to the idea that even the harshest winters can indeed give way to the promise of spring and new life.
It really makes you think. If even a king's utterly unmotivated, self-generated rage can ultimately be met with such a profound path to redemption and restoration, what does that say about the capacity for healing and new beginnings in our own lives, and maybe even in our world, especially when we're willing to embrace patience, humble ourselves, and open ourselves to the transformative, difficult, but ultimately life-giving power of forgiveness?